Hello, welcome everybody to Cube Draft. Started the recording a little late this time. Anyway, recap. Frantic Search, True Name, Nemesis, Hymn to Turak, these are all good cards. Wildfire, Sneak Attack, I'm going to go with True Name. I like him, I like Frantic Search. Storm is a little overdrafted in Swiss queues, so I'm not going to go for that. But True Name Nemesis is a great card. It's in blue. Blue's a great color. Alright, so there's a Bribery, very powerful card. Lotus Bloom's fine if you're ramping. Hero's Downfall is kind of whatever. Tooth and Nails, ramp card, fixing. I'm just going to take the Mox. Mox are very generically powerful, and you are pretty much going to want everyone you can have, so I'm just going to take the Mox. Nice and simple. If it wasn't for that, I'd take Bribery, and if it wasn't for that, I'd probably just want this Flooded Strand to try and start getting my mana in a good place, but Mox Jet it is. Alright, so now we have some choices. We have a Sword, and swords tend to go pretty well with True Name Nemesis. There's some big dumb green stuff. Mana Gorger Hydra. Not a lot of... haven't seen any like red cards that want to push me towards mono red, so that's not probably happening today. I know you're all very sad, but sometimes we've got to do different things. If we wanted to stick to blue, Spell Pierce is a perfectly reasonable card. Nothing wrong with it. Taking Toxic Deluge has the advantage of A, working with our Mox, and B, it also it also is one of the spells that can kill True Name, and so getting rid of those is generally helpful. Just taking spells that you can play but also are really good against what you have is always a fair choice. And there's also just a Tundra, which is a fine card. I think Deluge is the most powerful thing here. I think I might just take Tundra though, because dual lands are really nice. I was looking at that sword too. If that was like a GT or something, I would have taken it, or maybe if it was a better sword. Okay, Stoneforge Mystic. So maybe we can go for like Stoneblade. I think that's a thing in this cube. But I guess we'll find out the hard way, won't we? Other than that, Marshflex, Worn Power Stone, Windswept Heath, Misstep to an extent. These are all good cards. We'll just take Stoneforge Mystic. Try to see if we can do like a white-blue Stoneblade type thing. My first reaction is Mother of Runes, and my second reaction is still Mother of Runes. Rakdos Signet is fine. Isolated Chapel is a card that we would be happy to have as well, but I like Mother of Runes. It does what we want, and we do want to be sort of a white-blue type aggro deck here. Alright, so there's a Savannah, a Grave Titan, which is not a bad option, Bitter Blossom, which I think is the pick, and Blade Splicer, which is also good. But we want to wheel that sword and probably pick up all the other swords we can, as well as GT. If we see GT, we're taking that pretty much over just about anything that I can think of. Do we want Smokestack? I don't think so. Weathered Wayfarer is probably fine. Not super exciting or anything. Brain Maggots, whatever. Honor the Pure might be good, but it doesn't pump our Bitter Blossom tokens. Schadenport's just fine. So for me, it's between like the Port and the Wayfarer. I really don't know how good this Wayfarer is. He does carry a sword, though. He does carry a sword just as good as anyone else. For that reason, I think I'm going to take him. Alright, Kitchen Finks versus Banisher Priest versus Hallowed Fountain. These are all good cards. I like Kitchen Finks because it comes back from the dead. Banisher Priest is also very good, though. Kitchen Finks doesn't help us against decks like Storm, though that's not really fair because neither does Banisher Priest. But I'm gonna take Banisher Priest because it does deal with things like Reanimator, which we don't want to deal with. So, yeah. Really sad about passing that Hallowed Fountain, though. We're gonna want a lot of fixing because, as you can see, True Nemesis double blue and Banisher Priest double white, not exactly great. Him is kind of whatever. Wrath of God's not really what this deck wants, so we're gonna take Warfare. And we'll take Karakas here. I mean, Exalted Angel is also fine. Maybe it's just better. I mean, I like Karakas. It does give us some amount of, I don't know, like Karakas does give us some interesting things to do, and I think we can get more spells. I don't know. Karakas is a unique effect, whereas Exalted Angel is just kind of a big dumb person, you know? So, my personal opinion on such things is to take the more unique card, the card that can do more things for you, and it isn't a spell. It takes up a land slot, which is nice. Because it's not like we're playing cubes, so we're not worried about running out of playables. However, if we don't wheel that sword, we're gonna have interesting questions. I think this is the pack that had the sword in it. There's an unexpectedly absent, but I'm just gonna take the Emiria Angel. Um, but yeah, that wasn't even the best sword. So we want to get GTAs, we want to get Sword of Feast and Famine, and I mean, I guess ideally we would probably want enough swords to get a creature pro 5 color, but this is fine right now. This is fine. Um, yeah, so right now we're just looking at a little bit of a black splash. There's plenty of good cards to splash from black. You can get like Tide Hellslayer and the other guy. Okay, no, this is the pack that had the sword in it. I'm not super excited about Necromancy, but I am definitely happy to have Temple of Enlightenment, so we'll take that. And Isolated Chapel. And our mana base is already starting to look real nice, so that's definitely a plus. Yeah, we'll take because I don't like dealing with that card. Alright, so I like where we're at so far. It's just we have to be on the lookout for swords and put them pretty high on our priority list. I don't know how good this deck is. As we've seen, mono red can be very strong, but that deck has the advantage of its removal spells also being reach spells, so. Alright, Remand's a fine card here, as is Mirran Crusader, but I'm going to let the Mirran Crusader stay in the pack, because if it doesn't wheel, we're in trouble anyway. So I'm going to take Hangerback Walker. That's a card that many more people will be interested in. Mutavault's also fine. On Burial Rites isn't really what we're doing. But, yeah, like I said, Mirran Crusader is fine. There's nothing wrong with Mirran Crusader, but if he doesn't wheel, we're in trouble anyway. So I'm just going to take Hangerback. Because we want Mirran Crusader, but it's, I don't know. We don't really want Sphinx's Rev in this deck, so it's between Faith Fetters and Scrubland. Right now we have 2 black sources and only 1 black card, so I don't really mind just taking Faith's Fetters. It is a little slow as far as removal is concerned, but sometimes you just need removal. And that's something that we don't quite have yet, so we're going to take that. If we see any really strong equipments, we're just going to take them. Okay, that's interesting. Pack Rat, you say. Silverblade Paladin's one of the better white creatures, but again, if we can't wheel it, we're in trouble anyway. So I think I might just take Pack Rat because this card can take over games very, very easily. It's kind of just a one-man army type card. Yeah, we'll take that. Take Pack Rat. Excuse me. Let's see here. Alright, Council's Judgment, very strong. Removal. Venser the Sojourner is a fine card. It's not exactly what we want, though. Dig Through Time, Martyr, Woe Reaper. I don't know how I feel about Woe Reaper, but I probably don't love it. Dig Through Time I like a lot, for obvious reasons. It's just very, very powerful. However, not necessarily sure it's what we want. I think we want more of like a Council's Judgment type spell. I do value the removal pretty highly here. And right now I'm very concerned about our lack of swords. Like, if we can't pick up some swords, our deck's basically just going to be bad. It's going to be like bad stuff.deck. Alright, Soulfire Grandmaster is kind of fine, I guess. I think we're taking Figure of Destiny, because it's just one of the better cards here. Spear of Helad's nice too, but I think we can wheel that. I don't know, I haven't played with Soulfire Grandmaster that much, and I haven't played against him that much, so I don't know entirely what to think. However, if we had Path to Exile and Swords to Plowshares and a bunch of 1-mana kill spells, he'd be a lot more enticing to me. Alright, so we have 2 dual lands in our colors. We have Revelark, which is definitely a great card for us, Mox Diamond, which is also nice, and Fiend Hunter. So I'm obviously going to try and wheel this Fiend Hunter. The question is, do I want Revelark, one of these dual lands, or Mox Diamond? Right now we don't have any fetches, so Mox Diamond strikes me as being just a little bit better. And I think that's the case, because this just taps for all 3 colors, and these only tap for 2. And again, we don't have any fetches, so with the diamond, And probably Glacial Fortress here. Lightning Greaves is kind of okay. I'm really concerned now that we don't have any swords. If we don't pick them up, we're going to be in serious trouble. War Priest is, I guess, an okay sideboard card, but we can probably wheel him. Lightning Greaves is fine. Maybe. I'm not super excited by it, though. I'm just going to take the fixing. I don't, especially when you're playing an aggressive deck, you just don't want to have to worry about your mana being bad, because then you just can't win any games ever. So Una's Prowler's aggressive, but I don't want too much black, especially early. So for me, it comes down between Utter End and Seeker of the Way. Seeker of the Way is a pretty reasonable card. Maybe he's not good enough in this particular version of the cube. Maybe Utter End's just better, but we already have two sort of unconditional expensive removal spells, so if I'm picking up removal, I want the cheap stuff. Alright, so Mirror Crusader wheeled, so we can either take him or Mutavault. And I don't think there's much of a contest there, if I'm honest. Like, Mutavault's great and everything, but Johnny Goldmane? Sure. I don't know if you're making the deck, but I'll take you for now. Silverblade Paladin came back. There's also a Sin Collector, which is certainly worthy of note, but we'll take the Silverblade Paladin. Woe Reaper or Venser? Right now we're not really abusing Venser at all. Which is not to say that we can't abuse Venser. But we'll take him. We'll start him in the board, though. So right now we currently have 3 black sources, which considering we have 2 cheap black cards, that's not super ideal, but it is what it is. Do we already have Banisher Priest. I don't think we need too many of that effect. I'd rather have Revel Arc, because Revel Arc's real strong. Like, Revel Arc just has the advantage of late game card advantage and whatnot. So if we could open a Batterskull, that'd be great. Oh, nope, I definitely don't want to take Spellskite. This is not a great pack for us. Balance is the best card here, and it's probably what we're taking. We're going to wheel this Porcelain Legionnaire. I wouldn't mind Metamorph or Gifts. Neither of those are coming back, though. Spellskite's not a bad card to pick up. And, you know, I wouldn't be super unhappy if we had that, but I think I'm going to take Balance. It's probably a little awkward with so many creatures, but hey, what are you going to do, right? Okay, so still no more equipment, but there's a Land Tax, Hero Blade Hold, Gideon Jura, Venser even. So what do we want? Hero Blade Hold, I'm going to wheel that. So it's between like Land Tax and Gideon Jura. I don't think Gideon Jura is quite as good in this cube as opposed to the Legacy cube, just because there's less creatures running around. The question, I guess, just becomes how do I feel about Land Tax? I think Land Tax is a very powerful spell. I'll just take the Land Tax, I guess. We already have Weathered Wayfarer, but it's not that bad to have a combination. Alright, Pestermite, Treasure Cruise, Wormcoil Engine. I'm starting to become very, very concerned. Maybe I should have taken that sword earlier. I just figured there would be another one, but maybe somebody else is taking them. I don't think we really want Ranger that badly. Our 1-drops aren't that impressive. Dark Confidant's another card that we could splash, but our curve's a little high, as you can see, if you could even call it a curve. I'm thinking like Wormcoil, maybe. Wormcoil or Treasure Cruise. We currently are very heavily white, aren't we? You can just Supreme Verdict, but we have too many creatures for that. We'll take Wormcoil. Give us a bit of top end. Shackles. Alright, Shackles is technically a card. There's actually a lot of cards in this pack that we're happy to have. There's Swords to Plowshares, Dismember, Thoughtseize, Cloud Goat, Vidalcan Shackle, Drowned Catacomb, Tide Hellosculler. Couldn't even do that all in one breath. So yeah, that's crazy. Tide Hellosculler is the one that I want the most. The problem is we're not actually playing blue right now. So Vidalcan Shackles actually loses quite a bit. And I say we're not playing blue, we're playing True Name, but realistically we're not really playing all that much blue right now. So it's between like Tide Hellosculler and I don't know, something else. Cloudgoat Ranger, Thought Scour. Okay, so how many ways do we have of killing creatures? We have Banisher Priest, Council's Judgment, Fate's Fetters. We actually have a handful of removal already. It's either like the Thoughtseize or the Sculler. Oh shit. Shit. Apparently I'm taking Sculler. That was probably not good because it's not great for a curve. There we go. Ding 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 ding. Winner winner chicken dinner. Batterskull. That's something we needed pretty badly. So we're still on the lookout for any swords. Oh, Sword of Body and Mind. There we go. I'm happy to have Trinket Mage. I'm hoping Kytheon comes back. But yeah, we definitely needed a sword here. So here's our deck, and we need to make cuts. I guess Tasigur, or maybe Baneslayer, arguably. Let's see here, 27 cards right now. So I don't think I really want Sculler in the main, just because I don't want to strain my mana too much. I don't want to strain my mana for things that aren't amazing. Not really convinced about a Johnny Goldmane right now. So this is 25, and that's including 2 mana sources. If we ran like 16 lands with this, we'd have to make one more cut, so I'm going to say like probably Wormcoil off the top end. We can run Tasigur if we really want. Ooh, Iona, if we want it to be very nasty. I don't think we actually want Iona, though. I'd probably just rather have Isamaru try and be aggressive, fast, beat down. It's probably just better. It's a shame that we haven't picked up any fetches, and we're not going to. But yeah, we'll just take Isamaru. Don't want to stretch ourselves too thin here. Sorin, Lord of Innistrad. How do I feel about you? Well, I have a lot of creatures, so the emblem effect is useful. Porcelain Legionnaire is aggressive, and I like that. But Sorin, I say. Porcelain Legionnaire. I feel like we might be a little short on 2-drops, though. Like, we do want to be aggressive, after all. That's what deck's all about, is beating down. Delver's not doing anything for us, so we'll just take the Venser, which we may or may not run. Dark Confidant, Ranger of Eos. That's an interesting choice. We already have a lot of black cards and not that many black sources. But again, Ranger of Eos isn't super high on the list of cards that I want, generally speaking. We've passed a lot of Wraths, so that concerns me. Probably should have taken more of those Wrath of Gods away. Maybe we could make Bob work, but again, I don't want to stretch my mana too thin. He's more powerful though. We'll take him. Cloudgoat, sure. Again, I'm passing up Shackles because I just don't want to play that much blue. Flicker Wisp came back, which is nice, I guess, and Kytheon, sweet. So we certainly have some choices to make. So we're essentially splashing the True Name if we want to play it. And I think we do want to play True Name. And potentially Venser. We do have a lot of random black cards in here though, which is unfortunate. Alright, so we currently have 22 creatures. Is that what that says? Holy shit snacks. Alright, so that's 23 if we count that, and 24 if we count that. 24 creatures alone, huh? That's impressive for sure. Porcelain Legionnaire. Alright, so this is what our curve currently looks like. Withered Wayfarer. Where are you, Withered Wayfarer? Come on. I don't know why my zoom feature isn't working right now, but I can't currently zoom in on cards. Oh well, it is what it is, right? So, we definitely want to be on the more aggressive beat down side. Does make balance a little worse. Like, when you are intentionally trying to empty your hand, balance is not quite as good. But balance is still balance, so that's a plus. What did I take over Sorin? I think I just took, like, Porcelain Legionnaire. I'm not entirely certain about that choice. The reason I say that is because the lifelink could matter for Bitter Blossom, but oh well. So we currently have 3 5-drops and a Tasigur, which is definitely not the correct number. What do we have in terms of lands? We have 1 white-black land. We have 1 white-black land and 2 double blue spells, and there are only blue spells, which I don't like at all. So I'm going to take out Venser, and I'm probably going to take out one of these 5-drops. Reveillark can get back Stoneforge or Flicker Wisp. I feel like Revelark can do a lot of powerful things. The question is it better than Cloud Goat Ranger? I think right now I'm going to say no. So this is our 30 cards. Wow, okay. Do we want Spear of Heliod? Probably. It's just a fine card for us. So we've kind of morphed a little bit. Having 4 black cards and only effectively 3 black sources is not acceptable. So we're going to take out Dark Confidant from the main. Packrat and Bitter Blossom, as well as Tasker, I think are all too good to cut. So it looks like we're going to be running a little bit of a sketchy mana base here, unless we want to cut the True Name Nemesis, which is arguably one of our best creatures. I don't think we really want to cut him. As far as 1 and 2 drops go, Ismar, Kithion, Mother of Runes, Student of Warfare, Figure of Destiny. You could make arguments to say that we don't want Weathered Wayfarer. I would believe that. Again, this is 18, 19, 20 creatures. 20 is a lot. 20 is a big number. Do we even want Cloud Goat and Batterskull and all this stuff? I don't know. I think we want to run 16 lands plus 2 Mox. I think that's where we're at. 16 lands plus 2 Mox. That gives us a total of 24 spell slots, which means we still have to cut out 4 more creatures. Are we cutting any spells? We have 2 removal plus plus Banisher Priest. So that's 2 removal, 2.5 removal spells. The sword we can't cut. Spear, maybe, but likely not. The Mox are staying. Land tax is staying in the main. Balance is probably good enough that it stays. I like that if they're playing Artifact Ramp or something, we can kind of punish them for it, but we also end up punishing ourselves pretty badly, unless we play it right. Interesting choices. Anyway. Packrat, you say? I mean, what are the chances we actually get Packrat on turn 2 and have it online and all that? If we're playing True Name Nemesis, probably not as high as I would like. We currently have 3 blue sources. We're going to need 4 or 5 to get True Name. But we want True Name reliably on turn 3, which seems unlikely. Do we want to cut Cloud Goat? Let's cut Cloud Goat. We don't want too much top end. I will say that. Oh my, still have to make 3 cuts? Jesus Christ. Banisher Priest, Flicker Wisp, Mirran Crusader, Silverblade Paladin, True Name Nemesis. Getting rid of blue would make our mana a lot safer, wouldn't it? But True Name, again, is one of our best cards. I mean, are we trying to go for just one guy suit up, or like lots of guys? I feel like we're kind of on the lots of guys plan rather than the just suit up one guy with a sword and bash. Those are 2 very different plans. I mean, sword's good in both of them. It's just a question of which one are we doing. Flicker Wisp can do some nasty things. I mean, I guess you could argue that Seeker of the Way is not the best card. Not the world's best spell. If we cut like Seeker of the Way, go down to 17, 18 creatures. Maybe we don't want the Spear. The Spear just kind of adds damage, which is desirable, but is it that desirable? How do I feel about Emiria Angel? How do I feel about Faith's Fetters? Faith's Fetters is definitely has potential to be too slow in certain matchups. Do we want to run 15? 15 feels a little on the sketchy side. Let's just take a look at it at least. Bring in these 3. and Caracas, and Isolated Chapel. You suggest Miko? You suggest a mountain? You're crazy. So 1 island giving us 4 blue sources. I'd be a little happier with 5, and well, actually it's 4. It is 5 with the Mox Diamond. And then with black, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. A total of 4 black sources, which is again a little on the sketchy side. And how much white? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 white. If we put in 6, it would be 11, 12, 12 white, which is definitely a lot, and 12 is probably enough. And how many slots would that give us? That would give us 2 more slots, which means we could run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would give us 6 blue, which I feel much more happy about. And how much black? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black. I feel much more comfortable running something like that. Okay. Group creatures separately. So that's currently what we're playing. So things I'm not sure about are like Spear of Heliod / Ajani Goldmane, Cloud Goat Ranger, and then like Seeker of the Way. Those are all cards I'm a little unsure of. But you know what? I just haven't played this archetype very much in this cube. What I was hoping to have more of, to be honest, is like I wanted True Name Nemesis and Geist of St. Traft and other just really absurd 2 and 3 drops that are hard to deal with, and then more swords. I wanted 1 or 2 more swords maybe, and just sort of like having less creatures but lots of removal and counter spells and stuff, and being more like, well, Legacy Stoneblade basically. But this is what we get, so we'll see you in round 1.